December 10th, Caribbean Sea. A massive oil tanker, the biggest ever seized, 2 million barrels of crude on board. U.S. forces descended from helicopters, weapons drawn, crew powerless. Trump said two words, "We keep it." Venezuela called it piracy. But what led to this moment? That's the real story. Remember the Chinese cargo ship we talked about? That wasn't an isolated incident. 3 weeks later, this happened. And it's so much bigger because this wasn't just about one tanker. This was Trump sending a message to Venezuela, to Cuba, to Iran, even to Colombia's president. He literally said, "You're next." By the end of this video, you'll understand why, and you'll see how far America is willing to go. Spoiler, international law doesn't matter anymore. Let me show you what the media isn't connecting. September 2024, U.S. starts bombing boats, small speedboats in the Caribbean. They called them narco-terrorist vessels. 22 strikes, 87 people dead. Then November, that Chinese cargo ship raid. Then December 10th, the Venezuelan tanker. See the pattern? But here's what makes this absolutely insane. On December 9th, Trump gave an interview. Reporter asked about Venezuela's president, Nicolas Maduro. Trump's exact words, "His days are numbered." Would you invade Venezuela? Trump: I don't want to rule in or out. 24 hours later, they seized the tanker. This wasn't random. This was planned. Now let's talk about that tanker. The skipper, previously called the Odessa. It was sanctioned back in 2022. Why? Connections to Iran's Revolutionary Guard and Hezbollah, the terrorist organization. So this ship was already on America's radar. It left Venezuela's main port between December 4th and 5th, loaded with 2 million barrels of crude, half of it heading to Cuba. The other half, probably Iran, both countries under U.S. sanctions, both countries Trump wants to crush. And Trump, he sent in the cavalry. Here's what happened on that ship. December 10th, Caribbean waters. The skipper thought it was safe. Then the USS Gerald R. Ford appeared, the world's largest aircraft carrier, with F-35 fighter jets, submarines, destroyers. This wasn't a police operation. This was military force. Coast Guard helicopters launched, FBI agents on board, Navy support. They fast roped onto the deck. The crew didn't resist. How could they? Then Trump walked into the White House press room. "We just seized a tanker, very large, largest ever." Reporters asked, "What happens to the oil?" Trump's response, "Well, we keep it, I guess." Wait, we keep it? 2 million barrels of oil worth roughly $120 million. Just taken. Venezuela exploded with rage. Their government called it international piracy. This is theft. This is a crime. The real reason is finally revealed. It's not about drugs, not about democracy. It's about our oil, our energy, our wealth. And you know what? They're not wrong, because Trump didn't even pretend otherwise. Attorney General Pam Bondi released a video. U.S. forces dropping onto the tanker, weapons drawn, total control. The caption: sanctioned vessel supporting terrorism. But here's the part that should terrify you. The skipper was in international waters, no permission, no jurisdiction. America just did it anyway. International law says you can't board ships like this. You need warrants, you need legal authority. Trump had a warrant from a U.S. federal judge. But here's the problem. Venezuelan ship, Cuban cargo, Iranian connections, international waters. Does a U.S. judge have authority there? Legally? Questionable at best. But Trump doesn't care, and that's what makes this so dangerous. But the tanker, that's just the beginning. Same day, same press conference. Trump turned his attention to Colombia. Colombia's president is Gustavo Petro, a leftist, a critic of U.S. military strikes. He called Trump a barbarian. He ordered Colombian forces to stop sharing intelligence, so Trump issued a threat. Live, on camera. Colombia is producing a lot of drugs. They have cocaine factories. So he better wise up, or he'll be next. He'll be next. I hope he's listening. A sitting U.S. president threatening another Democratic leader on live television. He'll be next. Petro responded immediately. Trump is completely misinformed about Colombia. We've seized 2,700 tons of cocaine, the largest seizure in world history. This is disrespect to a democratically elected president. But Trump doubled down, called Petro an illegal drug leader, said Colombia is ripping off America. Now, picture this scenario. You're a Latin American leader. You watched Venezuela's president get threatened. You watched their tanker get seized. You watched Colombia's president get called next. What do you do? Do you stand up to America or do you fall in line? That's the question Trump wants you asking. Because fear is the point. Now, let me explain what's actually happening. And once you see it, everything clicks. Trump isn't trying to stop drugs, he's trying to collapse Venezuela's economy. Here's how it works. Venezuela has the world's largest oil reserves, bigger than Saudi Arabia, but because of sanctions, they can't sell normally. So they use shadow fleet tankers, about 800 ships worldwide. They turn off their tracking, they fake their locations, they smuggle oil to Iran, Cuba, Russia. The skipper? Perfect example. Its transponder said it was off the coast of Guyana, but satellite images showed it in Venezuela. It was lying about its location. That's called spoofing. It's how sanctioned countries move oil. And the US just proved they can stop it, not by blockading every port, but by seizing one ship and making sure everyone knows about it. Attorney General Pam Bondi didn't have to release that video, but she did, on purpose. Trump didn't have to say largest ever seized, but he did, on purpose. They wanted maximum publicity because there are 30 sanctioned tankers near Venezuela right now. After the seizure, some immediately fled the area. Mission accomplished, one ship seized, dozens scared away. Venezuela loses millions per day. Maduro's regime loses funding. And Trump gets closer to his goal, not through invasion, through economic strangulation. It's psychological warfare, and it's brutally effective. Now you understand the game. But here's where it gets really scary. This isn't just about Venezuela. Russia uses these same tankers. Iran uses these same tankers. China protects these operations. What happens when America starts seizing Russian oil? What happens when China's shipments get stopped? Venezuela already called it an act of war. Naval historians agree. Nations go to war over that principle. Trump just set a precedent. If America can seize ships in international waters, so can China. So can Russia. What happens when everyone plays by these new rules? The old system is dead. The one where international law mattered, where sovereignty was respected, that's over. We're in a new era now, where power trumps everything, where the strong take what they want, and the weak watch helplessly. This one tanker? It's not the story. The death of the old world order? That's the story. So, here's my question. Is Trump protecting America's interests or starting a dangerous new era? Should presidents threaten democratic leaders? Should we seize ships in international waters? What happens when other countries do the same? Drop your honest take in the comments, because this affects everyone. And if you're connecting the dots like I am, subscribe right now. We're covering the stories mainstream media won't explain. The cargo ship raid, this tanker seizure, they're all connected, and there's more coming. Speaking of what's coming next, Trump just threatened Colombia, but there's another story nobody's talking about. The 87 people killed in those boat strikes? Turns out they might not have been drug dealers, they might have been innocent fishermen. And the evidence? It's being covered up. That video drops in 2 days. You're not going to want to miss it. I'll see you there.